Clay must use his fiancée to execute an operation which causes the team to re-examine their personal relationships. Alex forges an unexpected bond with an asset that is in the middle of a conspiracy. Harry tries to find his place on the task force. Season 2, Episode 16 of Quantico MKTOPAZ starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome back to Monday. It's Quantico After Show. I'm your host, Drexel Heard. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Drexel Heard. I'm back with the panel. Mr. Timothy Michael.
What's up, guys? I'm Timothy Michael. You can reach me on all social media platforms at I am Timothy Mike. And to my left...
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel, and check out my blog, sextingandthecity.com. I just did a new post, what you're thinking when he's not texting back.
Yeah, I had to read it. It was very great.
It's really funny, you guys.
Very long, really funny, so check it out. Make sure to follow AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV. Use the hashtag ABTVQuantico to join the conversation. If you are in the chat room, hello, welcome. It is very late here in Los Angeles.
Not as late as we usually do our show.
Not as late, so we're it is a little early right now. Yay! I won't fall asleep right after, maybe just an hour after. So MKTOPAZ season 2, episode 16. We are almost towards the end of this season. Probably just about 8 more episodes left. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think of the episode?
There were some things that I really liked about this episode, and then there were some things that I really did not like. I'm not going to use the word hated because it's a very strong word. So that's how I feel.
So you're very ambivalent about it.
I'm very, not ambivalent, I'm just very on the fence about it.
I actually feel the same as you. There was a lot of aspects of the episode that I really enjoyed, and then there were quite a few that I wasn't very happy about.
Well, let's talk about some of the things that you enjoyed about this episode then.
I like some of the relationships that were developed in this episode. Nima, I'm really excited to see her more character developed, especially with her relationship with Raina, because I've been missing Raina, and I'm excited that they're going to introduce her again, or have introduced her again. Another thing that I liked was, I think that's probably about it.
Oh. So Tim
He was a huge fan of this episode.
This episode didn't really do it for me. I felt like it was there were a lot of childish like aspects to this episode, which I did not appreciate.
I think one of the things it felt like a reset episode that that did not belong at the end, towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we, like you said, there's a lot of relationships which we will talk about in a little bit, but it did feel like anybody could go anywhere. This should have been like a start to the mid-season premiere. Like this should have been a mid-season premiere episode, not a 16 episode going into 22 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's talk about the main task. So obviously we're still trying to figure out the 8 members of the cache. We focus in on, from the get-go, Rebecca Sherman, which I knew a Rebecca Sherman in my life at one point, so I was like, oh, really?
It's a very common name.
Yeah, I mean, not
I've
that common.
never met
That's
one.
the second time I've ever heard that name. So we go into the main task. They need to figure out why Rebecca Sherman, who was played by Tony Award and Emmy Award winner Donna Murphy. She somehow accessed the cache, downloaded it on her cell phone. I'm like, what kind of cell phone was she using? That she was like, let me look up this classified information.
But her
on
PC is from 1925.
Oh, right. I wrote that down. I was like, why is she using a desktop? And yet she accessed classified information on her cell phone. Something's not right. I need Quantico writers to get that together. that was really interesting. But she was looking up classified information on the U.S. passport control of vulnerabilities. So we find out kind of her backstory, which is she's a power broker. She's a socialite. She is that person that can get you what you want if you're a socialite.
And in New York, that's very, very powerful.
Right.
Because being a New York socialite, that's who you want to know. That's who can get you into all the parties. That can get you She's an incredible resource. And Donna Murphy's portrayal of this character, I felt in this episode was spot on. I thought that was another thing that I really liked about this episode was Rebecca Sherman, and the little time that she had on the show, I felt really connected to her.
Right. Do you know what that reminded me? It reminded me of, what was that movie where they want to have the wedding at the Plaza Hotel, and then Candace.
Bride Wars.
Bride War, and then Candace, what's her name?
Candace.
That, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
She was like the social, like the person that could get them what they wanted and stuff like that. I was like, oh, she's gonna do this. So we find out that Rebecca's been kind of trying to figure out this classified information. She needs to get this passport information for whatever reason. How did you? So they need to find out why to get Rebecca's information, and they come up with the idea to use Clay as bait. Mm-hmm. So the question is, do you guys think that Clay was obligated to use his personal life to help his team?
Yes.
In this scenario, yes. I mean, it was his choice to not tell his fiance off the bat that it's part of a little plan of theirs.
But do you tell your? I mean, it goes back to the whole idea of this is the reason, and Shelby talks about it. This is the reason why you don't, why we're all single is because we cannot have that conversation with people. Obviously, Clay doesn't come from a CIA background. He's a political operative first.
Yeah.
But now he's involved in, he was thrown basically into this situation, to having to work undercover with CIA and with classified information. I don't know that it is, obviously he could not tell. I mean, it's classified info. You can't tell your significant other classified information.
You can't tell her what that info is, but you could say, like, listen, I need you to help me with a little something. You know, tell her what you're allowed to tell her.
Right.
Like, at least let her know that she's involved, considering, obviously, she's going to figure it out herself. Like, it's going to be hard to get away from her for a long period of time. I mean, they weren't even able to accomplish the mission without Rebecca finding them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I would have told her, like, at least let her know. That way, yes, she'll be mad at you later, but, like, it won't affect the plan set in motion.
And so you mentioned Rebecca. So what I thought was really weird was when Rebecca is downstairs. She's starting to figure out, like, what is happening. The time that it took Rebecca to get from her kitchen to the staircase to upstairs, Maxine was fighting with Clay. They had enough time to fight with Clay. He had enough time to get a text message. Ryan had enough time to try to talk. There was a lot of time for Rebecca to not have gotten upstairs. Is what I'm getting at.
I think what was really clever about that whole scenario was the fact that, because I didn't fully comprehend what role Sasha was going to play in you know, her connection to Rebecca until they started talking about her life.
When you said Sasha, you know who I thought of? Sasha from The Walking Dead. I didn't even watch The Walking Dead.
Oh, I love Sasha. Oh, Sasha Walking Dead.
No
spoilers. No spoilers. But what I found interesting was that how they were trying to get the passwords based on, like, what she was saying, and Alex texting Clay the words the key words that she could have possibly used.
I almost feel like when they do situations like that, and it needs to be in real time, because then it looks choppy and confusing, that they almost need to do it like 24 does it, where they're in quadrants, where we see one thing happening, this happening, because then it looks like I just said, like, why did it take that person so long? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? But if we see it all together, we see, oh, this is how this is working, because everybody's working at the exact same time.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I will say I loved that they did that whole thing, because I don't know if you've ever seen, it's like a little meme online of what happens when you're trying to hack into, like, Bay's iCloud, and then you're, like, casually texting him, like, pets are so cute. Did you have a childhood pet? What was its name? I love your mom. What was her maiden name? Like, it just reminded me of that. It was so funny, but I like the way they did it. It was clever.
I think the only thing that I didn't like about that situation was that, yes, it was really cool how she was texting him the words, but as soon as she was going upstairs, you were just sending him a bunch of text messages. All you had to do was send him another text message saying, Rebecca's coming. And then they could have gotten out of the room, which didn't happen. Like, she kind of just put her phone away and followed Rebecca upstairs. And I was like...
Yeah, Alex wasn't doing anybody any favors. And I thought at one point that Rebecca could... I'm sorry. Yeah. Rebecca could see Alex texting every time she had an answer. Like, I thought she saw her over the shoulder, like, What is she texting over there?
Yeah, she was all about body language. I found out actually in this episode of Quantico that I'm bilingual because Rebecca speaks 5 languages, 3 of them well, and one of those 3 is body language.
Do you speak body language?
I speak body language.
What is my body telling you right now?
That
Oh my God.
You maybe don't want to be right next to me right now.
I don't think that you can speak body language very well then. Because I want to be with you all the time.
Ooh.
This took a whole nother turn.
Going back to the episode, I feel like I also didn't like the going back to my childish comment that I made in the beginning of the show. The Clay and Maxine fight I thought was really childish. Because I was like,
oh yeah,
okay, like
inside the house.
Inside the house,
Yes.
because I felt like he didn't want her to know, and as soon as they went upstairs, he went straight for the computer. Like there was no cover. Like, hey babe, go and look at the gallery in this room, and I'm just
Well,
gonna
he
try to
did
find
say
the
you were supposed to
bathroom."
stay with Rebecca.
I know, but it's like he just let her follow him. It
But-
wasn't even like a.
Also, she was childish. Like, don't throw. Obviously, if he's doing something very important for his mission, like, don't throw a tantrum right there. Like, I can't do this right now. Deal with it for now. Talk about it when you go home. You
Right.
know, there's a time and place.
Obviously, he's in the middle of doing something, so don't distract him right now. So Rebecca runs up the stairs. Come to find out that Rebecca needs help.
Yeah.
So Rebecca's literally asking for help because now she's been compromised. And they make the connection to the new name on the board, the third face on the board, which is the law. Thomas Roth, he's an attorney in New York. They call him the 101st Senator. He's basically the deal maker. He's basically the one that kind of helps pass the legislation that people really want to get passed. And again, this fits right into Rebecca's profile of high-profile people that she's kind of come in contact with. So obviously they're connected together. Obviously they have to be connected not only in what they do in terms of being high-profile people, but within this crazy Lydia, started situation that's happening right now. So then she's like, what do we do? So then they put her into the field. So now you got Clay into the field. You got Rebecca into the field. These people who are not used to going out into the field. Rebecca's looking real nervous in Central Park, which looked great, by the way.
Yeah.
And then they get shot. That came out of nowhere. First of all,
nowhere.
it was very calm in Central Park for that shot to have rung out of nowhere like that.
Yeah.
I was like, if that was Central Park, that would have been there would have been a lot more chaos.
I needed Rebecca to run a little bit faster. Like you
Well,
just
she was
saw somebody
running a
get
heel.
shot.
Well, you know those college.
Okay.
If you've ever been to Central Park and you're ever looking at the fountain, the cobblestones that are around the fountain. You know, she was in heels. Obviously, she's a socialite. She's not used to running. If she was from any other part other than Manhattan, she'd have kicked those heels off. She'd have ran.
Why
But
is
it's
that?
a gun.
Thank
like,
you.
It's a gunshot. It's not like, oh, time to get some exercise.
Yes,
it's
but
like, I need to run for my life.
Right, but also think about this. Rebecca was put in a situation that she was not used to. Somebody got shot right in front of her. So obviously it's the combination of shock that she's trying to deal with. What do I do? And how are they going to protect
No,
her?
I understand that, and she had that flight instinct come into play. I just needed her to do that flight instinct a little bit faster than what she was doing it, because this little trot that she was doing was not working for me, and I was like,
And it wasn't working for her either, clearly.
Oh my gosh.
Clearly, and then he shot her, and she got blood all over that nice white outfit that she had on, and I was a little upset about that. Look, she looked great. Now she's shot.
Yeah, I thought she was going to make it.
I thought so too.
I thought so as well.
I don't know. After that conversation that her and Alex had about like strong, powerful women in the van right before the mission started, I kind of knew that something was going to happen. And I thought that had gotten a little on your nerves, but I actually liked that moment.
Oh, I hated that moment.
Oh, I liked that moment between her and Rebecca.
But it was a quote about history, or saying like, "Do you need your loved ones more than the world needs you?"
Right.
I thought that was nice. I liked that moment between them.
I think you can have the best of both worlds.
Well, I mean, and we'll talk about more about Clay and Maxine's relationship, but that was a huge thing, and I think that goes for any high-profile life.
True.
You know, even here in even if you're an actor or something, like you either have to decide if your personal life is more, and I think people struggle with that a lot. Is how do I keep my personal life personal while at the same time giving fans what they want. And that's always very difficult. And I think in that case, in the case of Clay and Maxine, his mom is president of the United States. He doesn't have a private life anymore.
Yeah.
And with Rebecca, she's a socialite. She doesn't have a private life anymore because that's how she maintains her life. And then, of course, Alex doesn't have a personal life because she's gone through, these things where people recognize her, even though it is always a little confusing to me when people do and don't recognize her. Because I'm like, girl.
I mean,
everywhere.
In fairness to that, I'm glad that they are starting to because in the beginning of the mission when they were supposed to go to Rebecca's house, they said she's probably going to recognize you because she's a socialite. I'm glad they are starting to pick up on the fact that us as viewers are like, you guys, it's Alex Parrish. Like, everybody knows who she is. Like, there's no way of getting around that. So I'm glad that they're addressing that.
Right. Fantasy Stats Guru said, I knew she was a goner when she started trying to side with the team. Or Carmen says, if you're ever going to dodge gunshots on the move, run zigzags. Yes.
Thank you, Carmen.
She
Williams.
didn't know. She's never been out there. She's never been shot at.
I'm sure Carmen Williams has never been shot at either, but she
But
knows.
I mean,
I mean, unless you have Carmen, let us know, girl.
This is she was not planning on being shot at in the middle of Central Park. She wasn't thinking about running in zigzags.
Yeah, but she's also, on edge because she thinks these people are going to kill her. So, I mean, you had to have thought about this
That's
once
true.
or twice.
That's
it's not
true.
like this girl thinks she's all handy-dandy. That's why she asked them for help.
Yeah. I agree with
Maybe
you.
Google what to do when someone shoots at you if someone's after you to kill you.
That's funny.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of the shot that rang around Central Park, Harry goes after somebody who he thinks... Now, okay, Harry was walking up this path. Did you guys think that he was going to turn around and it was going to be like somebody with just a guitar? Like he like totally missed this, and then Harry was going to be like, oh shit, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Yeah, that was my initial instinct.
When I first saw it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be someone he's gonna like call to them, and then as he kept following, I'm like, no, this isn't gonna be anyone. It's just gonna be a random guy, and then it was not. It was Sebastian.
And then it was Sebastian.
Gosh, I thought we got rid of him. Honestly,
Thank you.
I'm so over Sebastian.
Disappointment.
Several episodes ago.
100%. I thought that it was I can't. When he turned around, I was more disappointed and angry than anything. Like, why are you bringing this character back? I'm so over their dynamic and their relationship and this banter that they have between each other that we saw in the beginning of this season that I'm just over it. And for them to bring Sebastian back, I just can't.
But I also think that there was never any closure with Sebastian.
I had closure.
I just meant between Harry and Sebastian. That character needed a closeout.
No, I agree. I agree with you, but at the same time, I don't need it. I really don't need it.
I'm not saying that y'all need y'all in on the show.
Yeah, but we're the viewers.
Harry
We matter
needed it.
more.
I'm saying.
did
But
not
see, here's the
need
thing.
it.
But here's the thing. Like, what I'm saying is that as a viewer, Sebastian just was gone. Like everybody else that has been gone has either died or we've known. Like with Caleb, we're like, well, Caleb didn't die, so he's got to come back at some point. You know what I mean? Like
he still wasn't in.
He still wasn't, even though he was in the preview. I don't know what's happening right
He
now.
was in the preview for this week and for last week.
I know.
Did we get him either week? No. What's up, Quantico?
And you know what I think it is?
Stop.
I think it's because the viewers want Caleb so bad back on the show that now the Quantico writers are just teasing us.
They're just they're being mean.
They are. As somebody said, they're being petty.
Yeah.
Somebody
they're
said
like,
they're being petty in the chat room.
let's make them think we're going to see Caleb next.
Yeah, and then Caleb is going to be on next season. Actually, they're setting us all up for next season.
They didn't even show him for next week's preview.
Which means he's probably going to be in next week's preview because then they didn't show
they're
him.
like,
Yeah.
we'll really get them
Psych,
this
he's
time.
here. Yeah, Sebastian kind of, I think that what we'll see is an ending to whatever that is at some point in the next few weeks. But there were a lot of, and Tim, you mentioned a slight prediction last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, where we talked about, how that we're starting to get to know Harry a little bit more. We're starting to get to the dynamic between Alex and Harry is very close. Mm-hmm. Harry was very vulnerable in this episode where he said, I don't have anything to do. I don't have anything left. You guys are my only hope, blah, 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 whatever. And so we're starting to get that dynamic from Harry, and we're starting to see that vulnerability from Harry, and now he's got Sebastian to deal with.
But Harry is still coming off as childish to me. I think
Well, he's British.
I don't
No
think-
offense to British people, but I mean, but they do, but, you know, they've got that kind of, like, can-do attitude that kind of, like, I'm going to do my own thing.
Well, I have questions. How did it go from a public setting of Harry and Sebastian in the park to Harry somehow following Sebastian to a dark room where Sebastian's holding him at gunpoint?
Yeah.
Also, if you know your friends well, which I think we learned about Harry even a lot in this episode where this is all he had, he just came back, he's like, I'm going to stay here, all is good. And then he changes his mind all quick on the phone and Alex thinks nothing of it. You're in the FBI. Why do you not understand? Why would you not think, oh, this is kind of weird, since he disappeared in the middle of our mission, never came back, and then is giving me a phone call to kind of break up with me. This is weird. Maybe I should be suspicious. But no. Alex is like, oh, it's cool. It's normal.
So if you read Renee's blog, all of what she just went down is basically what her text messages that she wrote out. She's projecting while she was feeling through that blog through Alex.
So how'd you break up over the phone? But you know what I mean?
No, I completely understand.
No,
Another
you're
thing
right.
that I was the first point that you made is that Harry is an MI6 operative. Like, how did you get from being in Central Park with somebody who's not even armed, just staring at you, to them having a gun on you in this dark alleyway? Like,
especially since Ryan made the point to say he's like a, what did he say?
He's the weapon.
He's the weapon, and now the weapon is getting the weapons turned back on him, which is crazy because yes, now Sebastian. I don't think Harry was armed out there, which was a mistake, obviously, because he just kind of threw himself into a mission without being armed. All he had was comms on him. And then I also think that Sebastian, and maybe we'll see next week, I think that Sebastian might have, tricked Harry.
What?
Into like... I can't imagine that Sebastian pulled a gun on Harry in the middle of Central Park.
No,
so I have a feeling that Harry, in Harry's vulnerable state, went with Sebastian, and then Sebastian ended up turning on him.
Well, Sebastian had the weapon in his guitar bag, correct? I would assume.
He had the main rifle in his guitar bag, but he ended up pulling a Glock out on him.
Yeah.
But we didn't see him pull the Glock out.
No, I'm not saying that.
We're just saying so that he had two weapons on him. I just think that if you know that person has weapons on them, is armed, you would know what to do to hold them down, even if you don't have a weapon, especially Harry. That just blew my mind, where he went from being in a public setting to being in a dark room, held at gunpoint.
Well, I mean, that time jump is not surprising.
And I don't think this has anything to do with Harry's vulnerability. I think it more has to do with what Fantasy Stats Guru said in the chat. Harry's very arrogant, and I think that this has a lot to do more with Harry's arrogance than it does his vulnerability. Because I'm not believing his vulnerability, but he is very arrogant. And I think that's why he went after Sebastian, and that's why he's in the position that he's in now, is because he's arrogant.
At any moment, he could have been like, guys, I've spotted someone. But he's like, no, I don't work as a team. I'm going to do this on my own. And I guess what Quantico's trying to teach us is like, there's no I in team. Gotta work together. See what happens when you go rogue? Well, actually, the first half of the second season is what happens when you go rogue.
True.
Oh my gosh. So we'll obviously see what happens next week with Harry and Sebastian, because obviously they were not playing house and cooking things up.
No,
Yeah.
they were not.
In there.
Actually, speaking of cooking things up, I just want to shout out Blue Apron, which is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country, which's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone.
I love Blue Apron.
I love Blue Apron too. Blue Apron ships the exact amount of each ingredient required for a recipe to your house, so they're trying to reduce food waste. They're also established partnerships with over 150 local farms, and they have amazing recipes like Spanish and fresh mozzarella pizza.
What is it called?
Blue Apron. Spinach. And fresh mozzarella pizza with olives, bell peppers, and ricotta salata. Salata, I love salata, that word, salata.
Got a salada.
Salata makes me saliva. Sweet and sour salmon with bok choy, carrot, and ginger fried rice, which I have had because I have joined Blue Apron and I love it. It's so good. It's so easy. They also have Parmesan crusted chicken with creamy fettuccine and roasted broccoli, and baby broccoli and fontina paninis with hard-boiled eggs and arugula salad.
I'm hungry.
Those are just a few of the many recipes that you can pick from. Not all ingredients are created equal is one of their mottos. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a real difference, so it's important to know where your food comes from, especially in Los Angeles. I'm sure all of us need to know where our food comes from. They are affordable, more or less than $10 per person per meal. There's a variety of meals that you can choose from. They're flexible, so they deliver when you want them to deliver. And it's easy. Each meal comes with a step-by-step guide, easy-to-follow recipe card, and pre-proportioned ingredients, and can be prepared in less than 40 minutes. And if you check out this week's menu, you can get your first 3 meals. That's 3 meals with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/buzz, B-U-Z-Z. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals for yourself and for your family. That's blueapron.com/buzz, B-U-Z-Z. Blue Apron is just a better way to cook.
Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
We love Blue Apron.
We love Blue Apron. Once I finish my juice cleanse this week, I will be eating that Parmesan crusted chicken because that sounds amazing. Hello to everybody in the chat room again. Ryan Ninja Steel from Arizona, welcome. New viewer, Ryan Ninja Steel Thomas. Yes, new viewer from Arizona.
Ryan Ninja Steel, that's a kick-ass name.
Welcome to the Quantico After Show, Ryan. I was just in Scottsdale. I love Arizona. It was very nice.
Before you had gone into Sebastian, I just want to kind of dive into when Rebecca got shot, and she was laying there, and Owen was ordered by Clay to just stand down. How did you guys feel about that?
To be honest, I didn't quite understand it, because if they were all trying to blend in and act like a normal person, you'd think there'd be one person at that location that would help her. I get why Alex Parrish wouldn't run out there, but Owen's right there. Don't you think it looks way more shady for him to be just sitting there do I not do anything?
Yeah, but I also think that was the mission, and I think with Owen, he knows what he has to do. He's had to as a CIA agent. It's that whole. It's what Ryan and Alex used to talk about, the difference between the CIA and the FBI. Now, if there was an FBI agent, and you saw that with Alex's job is to help people. CIA agent's job is to be covert and not to be seen. That's why Alex was so quick to rush out there, because she's FBI first, and Owen and everybody else was like, can't be a part of this. Gotta go back into the shadows.
Not necessarily, because Owen's first instinct was to try to help her, and Clay said no. So it was really Clay behind the whole thing.
Yes, but then Owen knew better. He was like, yes, I can help her.
But I just want to kind of point out that nobody else running in Central Park stopped to help her either.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cold-hearted. They
now,
make New Yorkers
nobody in New York was gonna be stopping if there was gunshots fired out in Central Park.
I disagree. I think that all the footage that we've seen in the media, which is really sad, but there have been a lot of active shooter scenarios. There is always somebody who steps up to help people. And I feel like that would have made that situation more realistic, instead of just having a woman who you can see is still alive, struggling to stay alive, and just nobody's helping her. I just thought that just bothered me. It bothered me.
Yeah, and I mean, with Owen, I just was like, listen, they got to get out of there. And Owen's first job was to make sure that he protected the team first, which is his job was to get the comm out of her ear, was to get the communications device out of her ear, and regardless of what that went down. And so I think that's where we landed, and obviously Alex felt bad about it, but it goes back to. I wrote down, in real life, would Alex be an asset or a liability? Alex gets too close to people. She gets too close to all of her assets, and it becomes a problem. I think we would all agree that Alex would always be a liability, because she doesn't follow the rules. She doesn't follow directions. She's always the person who has to be the hero, like they've already addressed in this show. She always has to be the one that the attention is on. Mm-hmm. So she would always be a liability, especially in this line of work. Right. I did have a question about Sebastian, because Sebastian's obviously holding Harry hostage. But do you think that he was compromised by Carly? Is it like a revenge thing? You know, like is Sebastian carrying out the rest of what Carly was trying to do, his fiance at the time? You know, because like Sebastian's this whole situation came out of nowhere. So somewhere along the line, Sebastian turned into what we thought Miranda was.
Well, I think what my initial theory is for Sebastian is that they always kind of address what happens after the farm. Like, what would you be doing after the farm? Would you be working private security? Would you be doing this? Would you be doing that? And I feel like Sebastian probably got recruited by, you know, some company or organization, and he was just, you know, following his orders for a specific mission.
But
and I don't
Sebastian was always always used his moral compass when he was at the farm. He was always questioning what he was doing. And he always made everybody else question what he was doing. So the idea that he would go out into Central Park, pull out a rifle on somebody, and shoot two people that he had no idea who they were, I'm wondering what happened along the line. So obviously we need to get back, and I'm hoping that Harry's going to pull that out of him next episode, which is, why are you doing this? What is happening?
Yeah, well, I think whatever he joined slowly brainwashed him as time went on. I think if you're spending enough time with someone and they're like saying, this is what's going on, this is what we need to do, this is what you should believe, eventually you're going to start believing them. If he really was recruited and spent all of his time with this dangerous group of people who had like one mindset, I think it's very possible to get into that mindset and to change. I mean, we're always growing. Apparently Sebastian grew too, and he only gets better, guys.
And maybe he's still fighting his own sexual urges, and that's his only escape route, is to be bad.
I don't even want to talk about his sexual urges because I can't. Do we really believe that Sebastian is the shooter, though? I mean, they never showed him actually shooting somebody. They never showed him with the rifle. It was just like a little case thing on his back. I mean, don't you think that they would have showed it if it
He
was...
had a gun in Central Park. Everyone was gone.
Well, I think that it looked like a guitar case. But I think that they would not have put us like what else would Sebastian have been
I'm just
doing
playing
there?
devil's advocate.
He
you guys.
started a music career.
In Central Park. He was panhandling in Central Park,
panhandling.
and that's why he packed up and left.
That's all his
the,
character should be able to do is panhandle in Central Park.
panhandling in Central Park. Speaking of relationships, let's talk about a few of the relationships. Obviously, this was a very relationship-heavy episode.
Yeah.
And so we've got Owen and Lydia. At the beginning of the episode, Owen receives this letter to whether or not he can... Because it looks like, if you read that letter, it looked like he was denied being able to go see it. Like, if you read the subject line...
Well, it said now allowed, not allowed.
Oh, I thought it said not allowed.
I read that too, and then I was like, oh, it says now allowed.
So obviously Owen's gonna go talk to Lydia. They're gonna have that conversation about what happened.
After he was convinced by Alex.
Yeah, I mean, what can Lydia bring? I mean, maybe, I don't know if we're ever going to see Lydia, because obviously we didn't see the actress in that moment.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird, because I was like, so maybe they're just not going to bring Lydia back at all.
That's what I was wondering
Or
as
was
well.
she beat up and we just can't see her? I don't know.
I would think that we're not going to see her at all, only because I feel like if they did have her back on the show, it would have taken like an hour or two to have this like one quick scene, not less even, to like set it up and have her be there. You know, if she was already there, if the actress was already hired for the day, might as well shoot that one scene.
She's a
No,
day
I mean, I don't
player.
know. I disagree. I think that
Really?
she had a really prominent role in stealing the drives, that I feel like the people who are controlling the cache right now, or the people who want the information in the cache, will go back to her and ask her for information or something like that. So I feel like they are going to bring her back in some
Which
way.
makes Lydia a liability.
Yeah.
And which it could mean that if Owen's going to see her, they could either be tapping her, because, you know, they got it all different facets of the government right now. They could be tapping that, figuring out what Owen's doing, and then she becomes a liability. They kill Lydia, and that's the end of Lydia.
Or they could just be making us feel something for Owen, because he's developing this relationship with his daughter in this last half of the season, and then they kill her, and then we feel even more bad for Owen.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Speaking of black people, where's Miranda?
I miss Miranda.
That's a good question. I don't even remember where we left. Oh, we left off with her saying she was going to turn herself
Yeah,
in.
that was it.
Her and Nima. But Nima got away, so didn't Miranda also get away?
Had to have. Oh, remember they found her. They covered the whole thing up.
Oh yeah, so we don't know what happened to Miranda.
Where's
though.
Miranda? Is she hiding?
I'm glad Raina's back.
I'm not, because this
What?
show's going to get really confusing for
No,
Drexel.
I mean, yeah.
Drexel even said right after we saw her, we had to pause it because he was very confused.
Well, I was only very confused because I didn't see that she walked in with her hijab on.
Why does she look like Neo?
Well, because she had her hair down, and there was a lot going on, and I did not see her take off her
He
hijab.
said, they set up Nima? We were like, no, Raina.
Well, I even saw, the phone call. Well, let's talk about Nima and Reina. Obviously, they have a very contentious relationship, and obviously a lot of it's based on trust. Actually, all of these relationships that we're going to talk about are all based off of trust. I mean, but they work in a system where you can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And I think with Reina and Nima, they both went through FBI Academy together. They both, one went through CIA. One was, actually, let me rephrase that. I think Nima was at the CIA, or Nima was running the ops, and then Reina was running the ops, and Nima was out there running with Miranda. I don't know. Wait. Where was Reina the whole time? What was she doing?
Raina with what? After
Where was Reina the first half of the season?
after Quantico training or after the G20 summit?
After the G20 summit. Reina was like captured.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was like, where was she doing the whole time? She wasn't at the farm. Where was she during the farm?
She wasn't working she didn't go to the farm.
She wasn't working at all.
I forget what position she was in, but she was out of that world.
Yeah.
Out of the world of being an agent or an operative.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I was like, where was she this whole time?
At home.
Knitting.
Cooking Blue Apron.
She needed that baby carrot, baby broccoli, and paninis.
So then we see Reina get, like, she's about to get framed. Like, we saw at the beginning of the episode, they were like people were wiping down this stuff. I'm glad they kind of revisited that, because at the beginning I was like, what is happening right now? And then I was like, well, obviously they're not in Rebecca's house, because Rebecca doesn't have a laptop. She's got this 1995 Windows 95 computer, with floppy disk. And so we find out that they look like they're trying to set Reina up for something. But like you said, it is going to be interesting to have Reina back with Nima, much to my detriment. Clay and Maxine, another character, Krista Rodriguez playing Maxine Griffin, who is Clay's fiance. Another relationship based off of trust, which is weird to me because Maxine knew what she was marrying into. She knew that marrying into a family that the Haas family, who she probably knew worked for the CIA, and Clay's mother is president of the United States. There's obviously going to be some secrets.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when you're getting into a relationship, you're like, that won't really bug me. That's fine. That's okay. And then as the relationship progresses and you're out of the honeymoon phase, you're like, why are you doing that?
See,
why are you lying to me?
I put more blame not on Maxine but on Clay, and they keep bringing up this theme as a CIA operative or an FBI agent that you really can't have people close to you because it just falls apart in the end. And for him to have this naivete, thought that he would be able to have a fiance and get married and live this life is just so immature. And I just think that.
Yes, but his life was in the White House. His life was not CIA. So he went into this thinking, I'm just going to be working in the White House as a political strategist. I'm like, I spend my 9 to 5 or 8 or 6 to 6 days writing policy all day. I'm not going to be out in the field getting shot at in Central Park, like, having people get shot at in Central Park, which you can see that takes a toll on him when Rebecca got shot. Like, it's just not something that he was equipped for. Yeah. Now, Caleb, yes. Clay, no. Because Caleb went through FBI training. He
failed FBI training.
I'm saying, but he that's what he wanted to do.
But he still failed.
This is not what Clay wanted to do.
Do you think their sister's name also starts with the C?
Yes.
What is it?
It's gonna be
Candace.
Claire. I like that you both are so sure. I'm like, did they already
Clarabelle.
say it?
No, they haven't.
Clarabelle.
I'm sure there is a sister, and I think somebody
From
did say.
Texas.
I think somebody did say there is a Haas sister out there.
There is. Yeah,
Yes,
Shelby
they
said
They
it.
adjusted.
I think it's her name is going to be Clarice, and it's actually going to be what's her name from Silence of the
Do you
Lambs.
think they're going to keep being like, oh wait, there's one more? Like as the season
Yep,
progresses,
yep.
he just has like
It's one
10
more Haas.
siblings.
Yeah.
And then
you know-
Shelby's gonna sleep with all of them.
Because oh my gosh, which I think that, and I think somebody said in the chat room just about how Shelby, it looks like it's headed that way
I
that
think so,
Shelby and Clay will sleep together at some point, but let's hope not for the sake of Shelby.
Morals.
Yeah,
Morals and the morals of the show.
That's so wrong.
it's so wrong.
Um,
And she'd be tearing up a marriage if she slept with Clay.
Yeah.
Shelby. Speaking of Shelby and Silmar was another. They brought Samara back. Shelby's
like
sister.
Silmar.
Silmar. That's a city here in
Los
Los
Angeles.
Angeles. Samar. Another person that they brought back from the dead. I was like, okay. Again, it's like they started to bring these people back for I don't know whatever reason.
I don't
Well,
know.
we didn't see her.
Yeah, we did.
So-
Yeah, we didn't see her, and I always like when they bring up Shelby's backstory because I always thought her backstory was so twisted that her family died in 9/11, and then they weren't dead, and then they didn't like her, and then they tried to. It was just like I like her backstory and them explaining why Shelby is the way that she is, and I like having her exactly like Alex said in this episode. Just because she's not really your family, if she feels like family, then you should hold on to that. And I feel like that's exactly what should happen. And Samar knows exactly who Shelby is because,
Right.
and that's very rare. So she should hold on to it.
Carmen says that the Haas name sister is Christina.
Christina.
I think she's throwing out a name, but like it could be Christina.
Christina.
Christina Haas.
Candace.
Carmen also gave us a little
Carmen.
little tidbit of info. She said that Priyanka Chopra, who plays Alex in the show, tweeted a pic with the actress that plays Miranda. So maybe she will be coming back. Can't wait.
Well,
Maybe.
there are a lot of pictures with Caleb in it
Right?
too, but we didn't see Caleb
Where's
either.
Caleb? Shelby and Caleb are supposed to be getting dinner. When and where is this dinner?
Yeah, there was another.
gonna be at that tavern bar that
The
they
other
always
thing that
call.
I liked about there was another point in the episode that I really liked that we have not gotten to see since like the first few episodes of the first season, which is Alex's backstory, which is
Yes.
somebody from Alex's past coming in. We saw Alex's mom in the first episode of the first season,
And her dad.
and then just kind of in flashbacks
Yeah.
or whatever, but like nobody else. So to see somebody in Alex's past that was not Ryan, that was not, actually that's pretty much the only person.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've ever seen somebody from Alex's
Yeah.
past. So I thought that was really interesting. So obviously, like I said, this episode built around relationships. The last relationship that is obviously going to be something, and I think we've talked about it before, it's going to be, I feel like a Sebastian Carly relationship, Sebastian Carly like relationship, which is Ryan and Sasha.
Oh, I disagree. I don't think it's going to be like a Carly Sebastian relationship. I think that last moment we saw where Ryan was holding the hard drive or the flash drive, I think he was like, I can't do this.
Well,
Like,
you also saw the preview for next week where where he does confront her about being a.
That's true. However, I think they're just trying to trick us in the previews like they always do, like they do with Caleb, because I think they're setting it up to have such like a fun dynamic where they really click and have really great chemistry. And I feel like it would be so interesting to finally introduce a new character or a love interest for Ryan that actually is kind of actually competes with Alex, because we never have anyone compete with Alex. It's always like Ryan's like waiting for her like a puppy dog. So it would be nice for Alex to all of a sudden be like, wait a second, am I losing him? Which I think we will get.
See, but that's exactly why I agree with Drexel in this scenario, because I feel like Alex and Ryan, to the Quantico writers, are supposed to always be together in the end, and I feel like Sasha will probably just turn out to be somebody who's untrustworthy, and she's Russian, so we can't really trust those Russians. So just saying.
You never know what's going to happen, but she could be a good person. We don't
She asks
know.
too many questions anyway.
Well, she's a reporter.
That's why this is not going to work.
Too bad that it could have been April O'Neil, Channel 6 News. MKTOPAZ, the title of the episode, is the CIA Technical Services Division, a cryptonym for that. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening in the chat room today. So like I said, hello to everybody. Let's talk about some things from the social media, some things from last week, some things from this week. I don't know if we got them up, but I think that there are some things that I sent you.
Yes, I have some stuff. Joanna is bubbly, says, I think this new team and new dynamic made the show so much better. Last episode and this one were so good. Loved Renee and Timothy with their jackets this episode. One of the best panels and after shows in my opinion. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And yeah, we'll have to wear like leather jackets again for
Yes.
those.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, just for bubbly.
Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah. Sailor Girl for Life said, what the hell is Alex doing by telling Ryan that she didn't expect him to wait around for her while she's trying to work things out in her head? I'm very angry about this. Either break them up forever or keep them together. I want them together, but this back and forth stuff is old already. Sasha is very thirsty. I can't blame her. The writers better not put Clay and Shelby together. That would be too gross. And bring Caleb back so he and Shelby can get together. I miss them as a couple. Sailor Girl for Life was giving us life with all those breakdowns.
Just breaking it down for us.
Yes.
Wait a second. I know you want Caleb and Shelby back together. I get it. But would you guys be able to forgive your significant other if they slept with you?
No. And that's why they're not going to be together.
I agree. Okay, and then Rayma says, I absolutely love the message of tonight's episode, though. Life is too short. Live in the moment. Love in the moment.
Love in the moment. Well, we love all of those moments. So thanks for all those
we
comments.
love our
Leave your
viewers.
comments. Leave your comments below in the YouTube comments, and we will talk about them on the show. I don't know what that is.
Maybe we should go into predictions.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go into predictions.
And now, your
I didn't think that
AfterBuzz
had
TV.
predictions either.
I didn't even have predictions.
Oh, that was
we've got some new
cool.
sounds going on there.
That's like a
so
rock song.
obviously Tim wants to talk about predictions.
I do, because I have so many predictions. I think that Raina was abducted by the same people that
Leon.
Fran killed. Yeah, Leon. But I think that they think that Raina is Nima, and that's why they're going after her.
Then they're stupid.
I mean, we don't know how much they know, so I don't know. I think that they think that she is Nima, and that's why they're going after
But
her.
I feel like if they framed her in her own house, like Nima and Raina haven't talked to each other in
You
a
guys
long
don't
time.
put holes in my theory, okay? This is
okay.
my theory, and I'm entitled to it.
Fair enough. I think maybe this may be a stretch. Maybe they kidnapped Raina to get Nima by
Oh.
framing her for the terrorist attack I think we're seeing next week, because that's the big story, and I don't think they're going to drag whatever they set up in this episode out too long, but who knows? We still haven't seen Caleb. I also stick by my prediction with Ryan and Sasha. I think that it's going to be a bumpy ride, but they're going to get closer and closer, and then Alex is going to be like, whoa, 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 I'm the apple of your eye. And lastly, I think that
I disagree with you and Sasha and Ryan. I think that Sasha's going to turn out to be a Russian spy.
I'm entitled
or
to my own
something.
prediction.
Yes, you are, but I'm disagreeing with you. I also think that Clay and what's her name? Maxine aren't gonna make it. I feel like
I agree.
I think that they're gonna break up because she's not gonna be able to handle the stress of this whole him being in the CIA now. And I feel like Shelby is gonna swoop in that once Caleb comes back and doesn't want her because she slept with her father. But Caleb likes sloppy seconds.
What?
That's what I think.
I mean,
Haas
Clay,
it's a Haas thing.
It's a hot.
They do like sloppy
she's going to
seconds.
sleep with all of the Hosses.
Yeah. What if Maxine is the double crosser?
I would love that. That would be a fun twist.
Because she's on my nerves right now. So hopefully she can redeem herself.
Throwing her temper tantrums.
Well, next week it's all about a Muslim registry and them bringing that. So again, a situation where we are making real life into fake life, and so we'll see what happens next week. Renee, where can they find you on the Twitter?
You guys can follow me at Renee Ariel on Instagram and on Twitter, and check out my blog, sextingandthecity.com.
Awesome, guys. I am Timothy Michael. You can find me on all social media platforms at I am Timothy Mike. I'm really excited this week to be joining the Survivor After Show on Wednesday nights and Grey's Anatomy on Thursday nights.
And I'm Drexel Heard. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Drexel Heard. Catch Political Culture tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on Black Hollywood Live. We'll see you all next Monday for episode 17. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.